Hello and welcome to another midday recipe with me, Chef Day. So, if you are new to our midday recipes, welcome. If you are not new to our midday recipes, thank you for coming back. Quite a few of you have been making our recipes, which is absolutely amazing to see. We actually set up a group so you guys can share the pictures of your recipes on that page. So that's a really great thing to do. So basically what you guys can do is you can ask me questions as I cook. And so you can either ask me questions about what I'm making today or about just anything to do with food. Sorry, just a second. Can you turn your sound off, please? Okay, right. Back to it. So, as always, there is a rainbow somewhere in the picture today. Somewhere in the shot there is always a rainbow, and it's your job to figure out where the rainbow is. Yesterday was a really hard one. It was really difficult. Sorry about that. So today is a lot easier. So I'm just making sure that I can see all of your comments on the screen here. So Gloria joined. Hello Gloria, thank you for joining me. So please do ask me questions as I cook. It can be questions about the recipe that I'm making today. If you want to know any substitutions, that's always a good question. You know, if you've got something in the back of your cupboard that you want to use up, ask me, what do I do with it? Because it's really great if at the moment we can use up all of those back of the cupboard ingredients. No matter how random they are, I'll give it a go. I will give it a go. Okay, so on to our recipe for today, which is our super healthy spice soup. I almost made this into super with an added O, but I thought that would be a bit lame, so I didn't do it. But I just thought I'd tell you about it anyway. So the great thing about this recipe is that it is really simple, and it's really healthy. So we've got loads of spices in there which are great as antibacterials and anti-inflammatories. The spices have so many great properties and also really lovely flavour. So we can take something really simple like carrots and we can make them amazing. So we've got a few people coming into the group. Lots of hearts there, Gloria, thank you for that. Sue finally made it on time. Okay, thank you. Yes, you are very on time. We haven't even started yet. Tracy Ann, hi, love soups. Me too. And that's one really important thing to say actually about soups, is that they can make you feel so nice on the inside. And it's going back to this Ayurvedic principle of wet and warm food. So things like soups and stews and porridge, they all make you feel like you're being hugged from the inside. So when you're going through quite a stressful time, as a few of us might be at the moment, they can be really good things to have really easy on your digestive system. So again, when we're going through stress, our stomachs are working overtime. So if we can give them a break by having something like soup, our tummies are going to really like that. So Dennis, thank you for joining us, Dennis. Dennis is in our group as well. So we have shared a link to the group. So if you go up in the comments, you can see a link to the group, which is called the Community Hub. So you can join us there and you can share whatever it is you want to share. Vegan food related. So Dennis said, a super hard rainbow to find today. I'm shocking. Ha. Yes, I know. I had to make it easy because yesterday it was really hard and no one got it. So, right. Robbie, thank you for joining me as always. And Jeff, thank you for joining me. Payout, rainbow is on the kitchen cupboard door. Exactly. And I don't know if you can see. Can you guys see what is at the end of the rainbow? So you can try and have a look at that while I start the recipe. So today's recipe, we start with 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. So cumin seeds there. 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds. I know this is like the biggest pack of coriander seeds ever. And the great thing about these coriander seeds is that they're sprouting. So we're going to have a go at growing them as well. So 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds. And so my pan has already been heating up. And I want to just toast the spices to get more flavour out of them. And it's a slightly different flavour that you get as well. Fawn! Hello, the lady with the lovely name. Okay, so I'm just going to wait for these guys to start smelling, basically. That's what you're looking for, or smelling for. I should say. So we're going to wait until these guys start to get fragrant, and then we're going to put them into our very, very cute little olive wood pestle and mortar, and we will grind them. But whilst they are toasting, we can get onto our carrots. So, Ariel, thank you for joining me, and Tor as well. And we're having lots of people come back to watch the show, which is really, really, really lovely. Do let us know if you make any of the things that I've been showing you how to make. It'd be really, really great to have your feedback. So, these are the carrots that I'm going to be using today. They're a bit hairy. Not because of mould, but just, you know, they start to get a bit hairy. But I wanted to show that to you guys, so that you know that you can still use them like this. They're still hard, they're still solid, so, you know, they haven't gone off at all. And, you know, one of the issues that we're having with at the moment is that some supermarkets are restricting the amount of fresh produce that we can have. I definitely found that using Ocado recently, which is a shame when you're someone like me who cooks from scratch all the time. So I'm doing my best to keep the veggies in as good a condition as I can, and just to kind of like eke them out over a few weeks. So we have a few comments here. Tracy Ann said we buy a lot of our spices from Asian supermarkets in really, really, really big packs. So in the UK, I don't know if Tracy Ann, if you're in the UK, but this is a very, very popular brand, East End. And so, as she said, you know, you get them in these really, really big packs, but you can get them in much bigger packs, huge packs. And if you're someone like me who uses spice a lot, you know, they're not going to go off. And they seem to be fresher. I don't like those little tiny jars at all. You know, the really slim ones, because you don't get much in them. I like the Bart's ones because a lot of them are organic as well. But for a lot of spices, you know, this is a really, really great economical way to buy spices. Don said, thank you so much for this bright spot in our day. Yeah, thank you. I'm blushing now, you can see. Jasmine said that she loved our nut roast. Good. So if you want to catch up on that recipe, just go onto the page and you'll be able to scroll down, you'll be able to see the nut roast recipe. We also share them on our community hub as well. So let me go onto this and start peeling our carrots. So, you know, this is a recipe where you can use butternut squash if you want to, if that's what you've got. I did recommend to people a few shows back that butternut squash is a really, really good thing to get from the supermarket at the moment. And the reason why it's great is because as long as you haven't cut into it, a butternut squash will keep fresh for quite a while. So we've got a little cupboard full of loads of kitchen equipment in my kitchen, but we also have some veggies in there that we keep just in a cardboard box that has a load of holes in it, and we've put the butternut squash in there. And yeah, so I think we've got 2 or 3 in there still, and I'm just going to kind of like keep them for a rainy day, you know, if I can't get a hold of more fresh produce, because, you know, of course we can get things like, you know, tin beans and tin tomatoes and stuff like that at the moment, but I'm really used to having quite a lot of fresh produce in my diet, and I don't want that to change too much, because I just feel like, you know, if you're having like too many beans and lentils and things like that, how can I say this nicely? Things don't move as flowingly as they should do. So I think having those like fresh veggies in your diet is also, you know, a really, really good thing. Okay, so Sue said, hi chef, I look forward to this every day. Oh, I look forward to it every day as well. Okay, so we're going to pop some water in here, and I actually heated this water up beforehand. There you go. And the reason why is because I just want to speed things up, really. So you could just have some hot water on the boil. Use a kettle if you want. We don't actually have a kettle in the house, so we just use a pan. But yeah, so get that ready, and then that speeds up things. So we're just going to roughly chop these and pop them in to our bowl. So I don't know if you guys can see how I'm cutting here. If I move over, whenever you're cutting, one of the most important things is that you always find the flat, because if you're trying to cut into a carrot and it's rolling all about the place, what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to probably cut yourself, or you can cut yourself. Or you know when you have like those near misses, you're like, oh my God, my finger nearly got lost forever and ever. And you know, as a professional chef, I've had my fair few of incidences, shall we say, and it's not pleasant. It is not pleasant. Okay, so we're just going to roughly cut those, but I am cutting them quite thinly, and I'm trying to make them as even as possible so that, you know, they all cook to roughly the same time. And I'm cutting them a bit smaller just because it's just going to cook quicker, basically. That's all. Michelle said, hey, great, thanks from South Wales. So I actually did my degree in Cardiff, so I have some very, very good memories of being at the art college in Cardiff. Which, if any of you guys have been to art college, is quite a bonkers time. So, once we have added this, then we are just going to add just a few other ingredients. And that's the thing about this dish, is that it is incredibly simple and easy, but really healthy. Really healthy. So we've got a couple of sticks of celery, and I'm just going to roughly slice these. And we don't have to slice these that thinly, so if you can see, that's about how thick it is, because carrot will take longer to cook than celery, you know, if it's the same size, so it doesn't have to be super thin with the celery. And we'll just whack that in there. Susan, so glad you put this up, as I have some leftover coconut milk and was wondering what to do with it. Yes, this is a great recipe for some leftover coconut milk. Trisha, watching from Liverpool, thank you for joining us. And Susan, I did my degree at Lampeter. Lovely. Yeah, when I was studying in Wales, I did get to see some of the lovely like surrounding areas, and you know, spending days going to the beach, which was beautiful but freezing, and wakeboarding for the first time, which was awesome, really awesome. But yeah, you definitely need a wetsuit. Okay, so I've put a couple of garlic cloves in there. They were quite big garlic cloves, but you be the judge of that, because some people like lots of garlic, some people, I think everyone likes a lot of garlic actually. Most of the people that I know, when I'm doing, you know, like one of the food demos that I do at vegan festivals, I say, oh, you know, put one garlic in, and they're like, what's one garlic? They don't come in ones. It's just not possible. Okay, so we're going to add some more flavour to this by adding 1 tablespoon of stock powder. So this is the stock powder that I use. Really like it, because you know, it's a loose powder, and if you're using it in something like a soup or a stew, it's just going to completely fall apart instantly. I really hate those little cubes where you use like half of it and then you end up with half a cube in the cupboard and then you get all the bits everywhere. Yeah, really annoying. So I don't like to use those, and I also don't like those cubes that are a bit kind of sticky. I think like the Knorr ones, because you put them into a soup and then they just don't melt, and so you end up using a fork just to try and mush it to the side to get it to, you know, basically dissolve in your soup or stew. Yeah, and I just don't get that. So I love the Marigold stock powder. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of crushed chilies in there, again East End brand, and half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. So really great thing for us to have in our diet at the moment. So quarter. We don't need too much. So turmeric is one of the ingredients that you need to be careful with when you're using it. Use it sparingly, because it does have quite a metallic taste. So if you add too much, it's just too overpowering. So that's going to give the soup a really nice colour. Just add a bit of black pepper. That's going to help your body be able to get to the turmeric, basically. So we are going to put the heat up on that, add a lid to it, and let it simmer. So once that has simmered, you can use a stick blender. Now this is the one that I recommend using rather than putting the soup into a jug blender. Once upon a time when I first started really making food, I used a jug blender. And you put hot soup into it, and sometimes it would start to crack and split, which, you know, obviously is a little bit scary when you've got really, really boiling hot soup in there. So I always recommend using a stick blender for soup, and you can use it in the pan. Be careful if you're using a non-stick pan, because the non-stick surface can be it can be easy to scratch. But I'm using stainless steel pan here. So even if you know this is in there and it's on and it's got all that power, it's not going to scuff the side at all. That's one of the great things about stainless steel. And actually we use stainless steel pans in the school because, quite frankly, I love my students, but occasionally they beat them about a bit and they burn stuff and, you know, that type of thing, and we end up having to get a scour on it. Now, if we were using non-stick pans, of course, they wouldn't last 5 minutes, but stainless steel pans will last a long time and they won't scuff. So the only thing about this pan, which is really, really annoying, and I wish I'd known before I bought it, is that this handle gets hot and this handle gets hot. So that's really helpful. So you have to remember as well. So, you know, every time you go to pick it up and you kind of forget and then you scorch your hand. So, yes, but, you know, I bought it now, so it's the one that we've got. Okay, so we're going to leave this bubbling away for about 15 minutes or something like that. And you can just use a spoon and a fork and just take out one of the pieces of carrot and put a fork into it and see if it's done. So you want it to be just cooked, because, you know, the whole point of this recipe is that it's got bags and bags and bags of nutrition in it. So we don't want to overboil it and get rid of all of those nutrients in there. We want all the vitamins and minerals to stay in there as much as possible, so that they're going to go from there into our bowl, and from our bowl to our spoon, and from our spoon into us. That is what we're looking for. So we don't want to overcook anything. So once all of that is cooked and blended, and you can really keep that blender on it and get it to be really, really smooth, then we add our coconut cream, or cream coconut, or yogurt, or cashew cream. So I have given you a few different suggestions here. I hope that you can see that okay. Yes, you can. So I have used 3 tablespoons of creamed coconut, but you can use something like a dairy-free yogurt. I recommend using one that is sugar-free. There's loads on the market now. You can use a coconut yogurt as well. That would be really lovely. Or a cashew yogurt. So there's a really lovely one called Nush, which is a very, very cute name, out on the market now. So that would go really, really well with this. You could use a can of coconut milk. I would say half a can of coconut milk in this amount. And by the way, this recipe is for 2 people, I would say, as a good portion, an ample portion. Or you could use some cashew cream as well. Of course, this isn't something that you would necessarily have, but I happen to have some in my cupboard that went onto our pancakes yesterday morning. So, you know, if you happen to have that because you're making some raw food recipes or whatever, then that's a good addition as well. Or what you could do is you could just actually add cashews straight to this, let them boil with everything else, and then blend them. So basically what we've done with this, you know, we're up to this point, you know, what's in the pot at the moment. This is going to be very spicy. It's going to have a real punch to it. But once we add this, one of these ingredients down here, it's really going to bring it back and dial down that spiciness. So you're still going to get the benefit of all those spices, but it's not going to be too overpowering. Okay, so Gloria said, I had some James Martin pans that are horrendous for getting dangerously hot. Yes, it is really, really frustrating. And if only I had known that before I bought it. But at least I only bought one of them. So, yeah, have to look on the bright side for that one. Okay, so we'll leave this to bubble away for another 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see Let's see how quickly it does, and then I'll show you how to blend, how it blends up. So you guys, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me? Do you have any ingredients you would like me to advise you on? If it's an ingredient that I have, then I will be able to make a recipe live for you. If it's an ingredient that I don't have, then I'll just advise you on it, basically, and do my best. Do my very, very, very best. I did just realise that we had our spice seeds here that I haven't popped in the pan, so I'm just going to give them a good grind and then pop them in too. Too much talking, not enough cooking. See, you get me started on cooking. And I can talk and talk and talk. So Trisha, would love to see you do Indian recipes. Okay, well actually, and this is a really, really good time to talk about this. One of my ex-students, one of my graduates, she's actually from Kerala, so she will be doing exactly what I'm doing today, but from her own home. So she'll be doing a live recipe for us in her own kitchen, but on the Vegan Chef School page. And so she'll be making some authentic Indian recipes. And so she's great. She's a great person to have do an Indian recipe, because she can give you loads and loads and loads more information than I can, and you can just throw loads of questions at her, because that is something that she's grown up with and that she really, really knows. So I do my best, and I can do a pretty good job, but it's always nice to have a specialist in the house who can come in and do these recipes for you guys. So please do. Martin said, would you mind going over the ingredients again? Thanks, Martin. No problem at all. Okay, so we had 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds. So of course you could use ground cumin or ground coriander. That would work also, but this will give it a deeper flavour. So by toasting them yourself and grinding them yourself, you get a much more kind of like musky flavour, and toasted seeds have a lot of umami in it, which is a great thing to have in any dish. So we started with the spice seeds, and I toasted them, and then we had 500 grams of carrot, around 500 grams, don't worry if it's a little bit over or if it's a little bit under, and I peeled them and then just chopped them very roughly. 700 millilitres of water, 2 celery sticks, and again I just really roughly sliced them. You don't have to worry about it being perfect at all, because we're going to be blending it, so it doesn't really matter. 2 garlic cloves. Again, use your own instincts with that. If you like things more garlicky, or if you have those garlic cloves that are so tiny, they're so tiny and annoying, and you're there like peeling them like forever, and yes, if you have those, then maybe add more. 1 tablespoon of stock powder, 1/4 teaspoon. Oh, sorry, let me just show you the stock powder again. So it was 1 tablespoon of stock powder, and this is the stock powder that I use, and it looks like that. Love it, love it, love it. And then 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon of crushed chilies. So they're dried crushed chilies, and then I put in a little bit black pepper as well. So I haven't added salt to here, because really, add however much salt you want to add, but I would say you really need to maybe wait till the end for that and then adjust it, because this stock powder actually has some salt in it, and quite a lot of stock powders do have salt in them, so just be careful with that. We've got people chatting in the group. That's really, really nice. Really nice. I like that a lot. Okay, so let me just see if the carrots are done. And yeah, I'm going to need to use this, of course. Okay. So I just kept that on quite a high setting, because, we're in a bit of a rush here. You guys have got to go and have lunch and whatever. Actually, that's a really, really good question. What's for lunch today? Tell me, come on, make me jealous. Come on. We actually had birthday cake for lunch yesterday, and we'd had pancakes for breakfast. So mainly we just ate sweet stuff all day yesterday, but it was Jeff's birthday, so you know we're allowed to. We did later on have a shepherd's pie. We had shepherd's pie and champagne, which is our new thing. In fact, I think we should just set up a shepherd's pie and champagne group. It's a good way to celebrate a birthday. So these are nearly done. Just pop the lid back on and we'll get it going a bit faster. So any more, oh, we do maybe have some new comments here. Let me just see if I can go down. So I can see Tracy Ann's comment, but anything before that I think I've missed, so you might have to say it again. We have a packet of dried barley. My husband dislikes barley, but I missed that question. Shut up again. Right. See, you know, if you haven't realised, sometimes Facebook isn't the most helpful of things. What was the question about barley?
Any ideas to convert him?
Any ideas to convert? Okay, so you can make pretty much most grains into some really lovely savoury crackers. So if you do that with barley, you're not really going to taste the barley flavour, and maybe also it's the texture. And so if we make something like crackers out of it, then, you know, he won't be able to complain about the texture because it would be in cracker form. So there are some really lovely sun-dried tomato crackers that I've made. Basically, I cook some millet and some buckwheat, but you could just do the same with barley, and then make a paste out of sun-dried tomato and herbs. If you want to add something like garlic powder to it, you know, then do it like that, and mix that in with the grain, and then get 2 baking sheets. Put the mixture in the middle and then roll it out till it's really flat, and then bake it in an oven at a low temperature. So somewhere around like 150 degrees, no higher than 150 degrees. And then you'll see it drying out, and you can flip it over so that, you know, the underside that is a bit more wet, then that will start baking as well. And then you just kind of break it apart and you make these really lovely artisan crackers. So that's a good suggestion for you guys. So there is another question that I think that I've missed.
Yeah, there was one about chilies.
Oh yes, what about chilies?
Yeah, someone being allergic to chilies.
Oh, okay.
So what else might you suggest?
Okay, so oh gosh, that's a difficult one. Substitution for chilies. So anything else that's kind of, you know, on the hot spectrum? See, is it just chilies, or can you have things like, if you can have red pepper, then you could have paprika that is kind of similar, but you know, it's really chilies that where we get the heat from. So Fawn said, I'm having trini roti with homemade chana and aloo with a nice amount of tamarind. Tamarind sauce. That's a, yes, tamarind sauce, definitely. That's a lovely one. Okay, so this is ready to blend. Again, I've got my trusty tea towel here. And we're just going to blend it in the pan. As I said earlier, this is a stainless steel pan, so it will be fine. Mark said, what bread would you recommend to serve with this delicious dish? So, let me have a think on that while I blend. Just a second. So at the moment, it's still got quite a few bits in it, but just persist, and you'll be able to get it a lot finer. And you'll see that I'm actually angling the pan so that basically just it helps the blender out. It's got more to move around. comes to something like a bread for this, I would want it to be as kind of earthy and wholemeally as possible, because especially like, you know, when you're making something like homemade soup, you want it to be almost like a kind of like nutty, like farmhouse bread, something like that, I think, anyway. But also you could use something like I've made peppered oat cakes before, which are really lovely, and that oatiness would go really, really well with it too. I'm just going to give this another blend because I do want it to be as smooth as possible. So at the moment, as I said, it's going to be very spicy, you know, lots of like savouriness going on in this dish. If you're somebody who likes a lot of spice in your food, you might be okay with it like this. But if you don't like too much spice, but you want all those benefits of the spice, then we need to add something like this that's going to mellow it out, basically. That's what we want. So we're going to add 3 tablespoons of this lovely coconut cream. I need to show this to you. So this coconut cream is by someone called, well, okay, so his name is Mordecai, but his company is Natural World. So if you can see that on there. Yep, so 3 tablespoons of this in here, and this is just going to melt into it. And we do this at the end because we don't want the coconut to split. And if coconut boils, then it can split, which is really, really annoying. You know, when you've gone to all this effort to make something and then yeah, it splits. Really, really, really annoying. Okay, so we've got 3 tablespoons of this lovely stuff in it. This is really, really good coconut cream. You can get it on Ocado now as well. They've got 3 different products Natural World has on Ocado, but you can also buy it on Amazon. They do really, really well on Amazon. They sell quite a lot through there. They also have a smoked almond butter, which is amazing. Amazing. Okay, so we're almost at the end of this. I'm just going to stir that in. And if you can see this lovely colour, really, apparently, orange makes you hungry. The colour orange makes you hungry. I don't know if it does or not, but I'm definitely hungry now. Definitely hungry now. So, as you can see, this is steaming hot. I'm just going to pop a little bit into a bowl here. So what are you guys having for dinner? Nobody actually told me. Maybe, and no one has decided yet. Maybe you're going to have spiced soup. I don't know. Okay. So a lovely bowl of steaming hot spiced soup. That could not be easier. Really, really, really easy. Really nourishing. Really good for your soul as well. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this recipe. I'm going to try and have a bit without burning the roof of my mouth. It's really nice, really nice, really nice. I can definitely taste the spices. They're still there, but they're not as overpowering as they would have been had I not added the creamed coconut. Really, really nice. So you guys keep asking me questions. Come into the community group and share your recipe tips and tricks. You know, you might have some that you can bring to our group, definitely, and also pictures of the different things that you've been making. Virginia, in your nut loaf, what gluten-free Marmite did you use? So most Marmite I think is gluten-free anyway, but we do use this one quite often. So this is from Meridian. So it's just known as yeast extract. So that's what Marmite is, yeast extract. Really great for making things taste meaty. So good for things like burgers and sausages and chilies and roasts. So quite often with vegan and vegetarian food, it can be on the sweet side because a lot of vegetables actually have a lot of healthy sugars in them. So if you use ingredients like this, it can make it taste more savoury. So thank you for that. Thank you for that question, Virginia. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there now, guys. But please do come in, make your requests. Let me know what recipes you would like to see me make. Let me know what back of the cupboard ingredients you've got, and I will do my best to help you. Have a lovely day.